Okay. Hello. First off, I want to thank the 8x10 for hosting us today. I'm Kevin from Wook Plus, and we asked you all here to celebrate something special today, mainly us as fans. We're going to take a closer look at some of the stories, the community, the mythology of the jam band world with someone who knows from the inside out. We got Mike Ayers with us. His book, Sharing in the Groove, captures so much of what makes this culture unique. And over the next couple hours, we're going to dive into a little bit behind the scenes, check out a chapter that didn't make it. But first, we got Uncle Kunkel's one grand band playing in a little bit too. But Mike, why don't we jump in with Halloween '95 Chicago? Because you told me this story, and I feels like this is like the crux of what happened afterwards.
Oh, sure. Yeah. So, 8x10. Thank you so much for having us. This is a historic venue. A lot of the bands that are featured in this book, and really came to prominence in the '90s. Widespread Panic and Fish and Dave Matthews, they all came through here. They played this stage, and Baltimore was a route from Richmond, from DC to New York to Philly.
First time Fish was the farthest they'd ever gone south, was playing here.
Yeah, so this is an amazing moment to talk to you and Wook Plus about the book. And yeah, Halloween weekend, Billy Strings is here in town for a pretty epic weekend, and I had a pretty good run with Halloween not a few years ago, 30 years ago yesterday.
Yes.
I was in Chicago for Fish's Halloween show at the Rosemont Horizon, where they did Quadrophenia, and I found myself backstage that day, starting at around 8 a.m. I had slept on a floor at Northwestern University in a dorm room of someone who I didn't know, and we got up super early. It was gray, it was rainy. We went to the Rosemont Horizon, and I was asked to help the catering crew cater for that show, which had fallen into my lap 4 nights earlier in Kalamazoo, Michigan. I had just shown up without tickets with a few friends, and someone from the band came out to the parking lot and said, "Hey, would you like to cook for the band for tickets? It's strange that you drove 12 hours with no tickets, but here we are, and if you're not weird, if you're not gonna cost the band, this is what we do." Mm-hmm. And so of course we were super into it. They, I think, took a little bit of a liking to us and our work ethic, and invited us to come help out at the catering crew at the Chicago Halloween show. So there I was, backstage, working all day as everything is getting prepped for what was a pretty big event in this world. Mm-hmm. Fish had done the White Album the year before, and the secret was out, right? That, okay, not only is can this band cover a record from start to finish, it rules. Right. They do it extremely well. And so, there was a lot of rumors going around of what they were going to play, and in the parking lot, and I think the crew knew backstage as well that the big rumor was it was going to be Thriller. Right. Okay.
Yes.
And I think they were teasing some Beat It before then, and I do vividly remember someone coming up to us around maybe 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And mind you, it's like a really rainy day. It's rainy, it's cold, it's all the things that Chicago does in the late fall and winter. Yeah. And they said, you know, the band wants you to be outside while they sound check. And we were like, really? It's like, it's cold. Like, are we gonna get back in? They're, yeah, we'll let you back in, but you know, they're doing this musical costume, and they do not want.
We don't want it leaked.
They don't want you to know. And so we went outside, and they had a trailer, I believe, where they did some an auxiliary. It literally was a trailer, but it was a makeshift kitchen. And so we were just washing dishes out there in the rain. There's like, you know, fish kids walking back, you know, right by it, like, you know, with their finger in the air, and you know, wanted to get in, and we did get back in, and you know, we finished up our jobs. They gave us our passes. That was the trade-off. You know, like, you know, you worked for a long time,
right,
and you know, you can have passes. And we were out there by the time Iculus started up, and you know, for me, it was just you know, obviously it was an amazing time, but you know, that mid-90s was when Halloween was really starting to become a...
Well, Fish made it, right?
Yeah, Fish made it, and like everything was really, you know, I don't want to say importance, but like it just started to become like a monumental event.
Right.
And you know, with the White Album the year before, and then Quadrophenia afterwards. Interestingly enough, like I really wanted to do a chapter for this book about the White Album.
Right.
I thought it was a very pivotal moment in the band's career. You know, mainly because I don't know, 6-7 months prior they released Hoist. Okay, and great record, and they're starting to play bigger and bigger places. But really, the focus, you know, by the summer became, oh, they want fans' input to cover a record,
Right.
right? And what are we gonna do? So like, just the notion that became the biggest thing
Right.
in their world, was to recreate a record for a show that they have never played before,
Right.
versus trying to get this record, the Hoist, on radio, shooting a bunch of videos for it, like doing a bunch of promo wherever. Like, it was just super fan oriented, and they picked a place that you know, some people from the that I interviewed were talking about upstate New York and how they had really.
Dude, I didn't go. It was snowing. There was a snowstorm. Anybody remembers this? There was a snowstorm that weekend in Baltimore, all the way up the East Coast, all the way over to like Ohio. And my buddies are like, "Come on, let's go." And I'm like, "Nah, man, I'm not getting stuck on the side of the road." They went up, saw the show. I did not, so that was.
So they didn't get stuck.
No, they didn't get stuck. They got up there and had to drive slow. They said they were closing the Pennsylvania Turnpike down behind them as they were driving through. And they were driving behind a salt truck, like in the wake of it, because there was just enough cleared space driving in the wake of the salt truck to get up there. So, but it did. I mean, they started, if we remember, 90, 91. Even before that, they did costume contests.
They did
things
costume
like that
contests,
and stuff,
yeah.
which was similar, you know, maybe to more what Zappa or the Dead did in the 70s and 80s. You know, doing a Halloween show, but it not necessarily being anything more than a show that's on Halloween, as opposed to, hey, let's do a musical costume.
Yeah, no, it was certainly revolutionary. You know, people also told me that this was the first time they did mail order tickets. Jim Pollock did the art for the tickets.
I did not realize that was the first mail order.
First mail order. Like, it was like the band really eventized it in a way that just really, really made it special, which was pretty incredible for, you know, at the end of the day, they weren't a huge radio band. You know, they had a major label, but you know, they were just really doubling down on giving the fans an incredible experience. Speakers were in the back of the arena,
Right.
so you know, just the sound was really great. It also didn't start till 9 p.m., right, and went to like 2 or 3 in the morning. Like all of these things, you know, just were, it kind of set the groundwork for mythologizing, not even mythologize, like just laying the groundwork for what a Halloween show could be.
You have to do something now because of them.
You have to do
You
something.
can't get around with just showing up, even if it's, you know, putting on costumes. But now you really have to have a theme. You know, everybody last night, tons of shows there. But it's a good thing. I feel like it brings out the weirdest, most creative aspects of a band.
Oh yeah, I mean, you know, this community then, this community now, like really loves creativity and just
Taking a chance.
taking a chance,
Yep.
and expressing yourself. And you know, I think that's why older acts that, you know, grew up, like came of age in the 90s, are still doing it with great success. And then you have younger acts that are, you know, just taking it to wherever they want to take it, and it's fantastic. Like, fans are responding. Like, the fact that, you know, this is the second year in a row that Billy Strings is here, and now it's an event, right? It's not an event. It is an event for him, of course, in the band, but it's also, you know, an event for the city. Like, you know, you go to SPAC to see Fish, or, you know, Boulder this summer. Like, it's an event. And now it's here, and you have these younger acts doing it in a way that is, I don't know, remarkable.
Why did we cut the chapter?
Why did we cut? You know, I didn't get too. I just didn't get enough insights that I thought that it would, you know, really, you know, make something pop. You know, you want something to pop. But I do think it was a very important moment in their career, and in the jam band world, 100%.
Right. I feel like Mel was one of the earlier people to embrace what Fish was doing. They had the Willy Wonka in '99, Dark Side Wizard of the Oz in 2000, The Simpsons in '02. This year they did, I don't know if you saw any of this, it was Monty Python. Rob actually fought the Black Knight on stage. It was just a scratch. They had fake blood or streamers or something. It looked fun, but what I said to you earlier about that was, some of it's having the money. You look at Billy's production for what he did, as opposed to Moe's playing for 500 people. They don't get the all the extras, I guess.
Yeah, look, if you can spend some money and you know, have pyrotechnics, or, you know, whatever you want, that's good. But if you can, at the end of the day, if you can musically be creative on any stage,
Right.
and the audience is responding, I think that's what became of this holiday, and why, you know, bands and fans get up for it. They get up for it, right?
Yes, I would say Mule has done it. Widespread. Disco Biscuits. Do we want to talk about the Disco Biscuits?
No, but I mean, yeah, no, we can talk about Disco Biscuits all day long.
We're not going to talk about the Disco Biscuits.
We're just moving on into, like, you know, how, you know, I just think that what I love about the 90s, and, you know, when we were seeing a ton of shows, is that it laid this groundwork that is still completely like flourishing is like an understatement, right? There's so many acts that want to. They're just getting in the bus and they're doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, back then, you know, all the acts that are in this book, most of them were on a major label, right? You know, they had pressures around radio. You know, they were supposed to, like, what was, you know, deemed back then as like moving units, right? That was, you know, speak
Right.
for selling CDs. You know, Tower Records had the, you know, the little thing that you could go in and listen to each week's new release.
Right,
and if you
right.
got your new release in that and people could listen to it, that would move units.
Right.
But you don't necessarily need that anymore. And you're seeing like a lot of these younger acts, like not only they're embracing the traditions that were started back then, the live traditions, but on the flip side, like they are not, they don't have necessarily that pressure that a lot of the acts back then did in terms of, you know, stream numbers, video counts, you know, like.
Well, that's your moving units now, is
It-
what you got on Spotify.
It is your moving units, but, you know, that a lot of acts can just self-release,
Mm-hmm.
right? They can, you know, drum up a number of vinyl to sell and press vinyl themselves, and they just, it's like this direct to fan mentality that didn't exist back then, and they're really good at embracing it.
Right, when you used to have to buy the cassette from the guy, the sound guy out of the back of the trunk, you know?
Yeah, I never hit that guy up. Did you?
Always. It was always somebody with the band who's like, oh yeah, we got copies out in the trunk, man. That's
Yeah. So the trunk guy, he was a thing.
yeah.
But you know, now the, you know, bands are just much more savvy with how to connect with people outside the live stage. At the end of the day, it's like, can you play live?
Right.
Like people have asked me over the last like couple, like, you know, why is it still a thing? Like, I didn't think this was going to be a thing, but now it's more of a thing than ever. And, you know,
Social media is a double-edged sword with that, though.
it is, but it's like, at the end of the day, like, can you play live? And if people see, like, will they connect to you? And if they do, they're going to tell people, right?
Right, word of mouth, yeah.
Like the
definitely.
word of the mouth thing is not going to die. You were talking about Disco Biscuits, like, you know, Mark Brownstein told me, he was just like, you know, when we were getting the Disco Biscuits going, you know, word of mouth was everything. You can advertise, you know, tell people, you know,
But
flyer,
unless I told
flyer.
the next guy, nobody was here.
Well, it's like, you know, if the band is telling you, that's advertising. If your friend is telling you, that's
A
a
recommendation.
recommendation. That's word of mouth.
You owe me a beer. You know, the Disco Biscuits played here 6 times in 1998, and I didn't see the January show, but I saw the other 5, and that was my big year with the Disco Biscuits. And this place, the stage used to be in the corner, and it was like a triangle. This stage did not exist. The bathrooms were right back here, and there was a wall through the middle. But God, that was debauchery. The Disco Biscuits playing here, just, and it got more packed. I didn't come in January, like I said. Someone told me I showed up in March. When we came back in April, there was more people. By the end of the year, they had to move to the Wrecker.
Yeah, I mean, but that's to say, like, these acts, like, you know, they would, you know, find a little nugget, and then they would go and go and go, right? Pull at that thread and pull at that thread. So it's not like, you're not saying I saw them once.
Right.
You're saying I saw them 5 times in a year
Right.
at the same place. So, you know, these acts, like, they had this just this appetite for playing and for
Remember
touring.
the index cards? The cards you used to get in the mail? It would be like galactic tour dates, and they'd have like every tour date for the next 6 months. Or
Yeah, well,
whatever.
they collect. You know, people would collect physical addresses to do that because.
God
you know,
Street did. I used to get God Street.
Of course,
mail.
God Street did. Like, email wasn't as, prolific as it is, even in the early 2000s.
Right.
And I heard some good stories too. Like, you'd send out a postcard with dates, to frat houses and to college towns, to people in college. They'd slap it up against the refrigerator with a magnet. Everybody that comes through parties or whatever,
And if you're
they
a cool, if
constantly
you're
see.
the cool frat, you're like, oh, they like Galactic. We better go see Galactic.
100%. So like these savvy ways that were outside of, it was outside of the mainstream. It was like you had to think about these things and capture your fans and engage with your fans as much as possible, and they did that.
Right. It's fascinating. Like I'm just thinking about Disco Biscuits were 98, 96, 97. String Cheese Incident played here 3 or 4 times. Not as much because obviously they weren't as close as Philly. They were coming from Colorado, but so many bands that I feel like this was a proving ground. Like Abigail said, Widespread, Fish, back in the early days. And these kind of clubs are so important for that, I feel like. We have to have it. And in today's day and age, I feel like it's getting so much harder. That you're either playing the arena or you're playing in a backyard or the basement of somebody's house,
Yeah, I mean, these like clubs like this, that become institutions in name and in place, that keep going and give people a chance to play and to develop. It is so important. And a lot of towns still have them, but it does get harder.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, the margins get smaller. There's more middlemen. I mean, since like the streaming services and all that exist, I feel like there's so many more middlemen. The guy who owns Spotify makes more than anybody on the platform makes, But what do? How do you get around that except something like a Bandcamp? But people aren't going to be inclined to go to Bandcamp. They use Spotify already. It exists,
So places like that, like I don't know, and that's just like, to me, it's like saying, well, people are going to go to Tower Records and buy CDs and not go to the 8x10 or the Black Cat or 930. Like, they're still going to go there, but you have to, those people that are on stage have to be good.
Engaging.
And they are, right? Right now, I think they, there's always going to be live music to see. I have been thinking that, it's funny that you brought up Spotify, and I have been thinking about this a lot lately around, algorithms and Spotify and ads follow you. You go look at the Gap, and then everywhere you look for the next 3 weeks online is the Gap.
Right.
And, I don't know if people are tired of it. They're aware of that. They're aware of what's happening and how that autonomy of going to Tower Records and flipping through has slowly diminished. But a live venue and a live, live music is still a place where you can go, and what you're seeing and what you're experiencing with other live human beings is happening right in front of you. There's no algorithms like dictating that, right?
Exactly.
And I think the more like the phones and the technology and the algos proliferate, a space like this, a space like where Billy is tonight or wherever, it's the meaning is, the meaning was great in, for the last 30, 40, 50 years, but it takes I think a bigger meaning in people's lives, even if it is subconscious. They might not know it, but they're going to a place where they're experiencing something with other human beings that has never been done and never will be done again.
Right.
That moment.
Exactly.
That's a good thing.
Right. So let's talk a little bit about this. As you were going through talking to the people, assembling the story, And were there any interesting through lines that you found that you didn't realize would be there walking into the project?
Yeah, for the fans and for the bands alike, like this was such a, you remember when you were 20,
Vaguely.
19, 20, 21.
Vaguely.
And it's such like a coming of age moment, right, in your
Right.
life.
I
And-
like watching my kid now. My kids are now that age, and I get to see what you're talking about.
Yeah, like it's super special. So to hear, the stories of how people were, not developing as artists and as human beings, and wanting to make this as a career was super fascinating. And then throw in that everybody had different experiences with radio and record labels and fans and Jerry Garcia's death, and how all of this mixed into how they would, proceed or grow, right? Like, Spin Doctors, were playing for a ton of people, way more than Fish. And then 3 years later, like Fish is playing 70,000 people, at their own festival.
Then doctors can't get a club gig.
And they were having a lot of trouble. So
In an alternate universe, the Spin Doctors became Fish, and Fish were the Spin Doctors.
it could have happened. Like you don't really know like what's going to happen or what's going to connect with people. And the Red Hot Chili Peppers are a fantastic,
Right.
story of that decade as well. Like, basically LA skate
Right.
druggy punk kids who then, were on every single radio station as well, and then, had to, navigate all of that stuff overnight.
Being famous, right?
Yeah. So all of that mixed together, I think tells like a really fascinating story of what happened then, and largely dissipated. Like Napster
Yeah.
changed the game.
Mhm. What where was I going? Oh, do you think when we look back, like over the early stuff, early years, it seemed to be very concentrated in the Northeast. Obviously, you had Fish, but God Street, Blues Travelers, Spin Doctors, Jono Manson. They were all New York. Then you had like the Slip and all those bands and stuff like that. Was it just because it's so densely populated, a lot of college kids, that's where it was? I mean, you got Widespread popped up further south, but there wasn't, String Cheese eventually out in Colorado, but it wasn't like it is today where you have to ask a band where they're from, and they're like, oh, we're from Newton, Illinois, or something like that.
No, there was a big concentration in the Northeast for sure. There's just a ton of colleges up there. Bands figured out early on that they could make a pretty good wage if they would play a frat or a college and supplement their gigs at bars. So they would hit those hard. When you get $10,000, $8,000 for a college gig in 1991.
That's big money.
that was
Pay
big
your rent
money.
for the year.
Yeah. So they would hit those they're not even markets. They're like little college towns all around the Northeast, and obviously we're super taper friendly, and buzz just kind of started organically, like it does.
Is that a double-edged sword in as much as you have the frat boys, you have the frats, you have the cards, on the fridge, everybody's coming, but on the other side, does that shut out a lot of the other world because you're like, that's a little weird thing going on over there?
What other weird thing?
Oh, I'm saying you know, the frat band's going to see like Fish or something like that. The rest of the world looks at that and they're like, that's a little bit of a strange thing. So even though they had that support there, on the flip side, it didn't turn into Hoist or Down with Disease becoming a hit video on
Yeah,
MTV.
and most of the acts, you know, like a band like Fish didn't care,
Right.
right? Like, so
You don't
like,
think they cared on some level that?
I don't think they cared. Like they were paying attention to how many people were coming and the bigger venues that they had to play. I mean, some acts for sure cared. Like they, you know, it's different people.
I would want a hit single if I was in a band.
You know, the God Street, there's a great God Street story about how they were cruising down 7th Avenue in New York City, and their manager was like, you know, they're right past Madison Square Garden, you're going to play there one day. And they said, we don't care about playing there one day. We want to drive past and hear us on the radio.
Right.
So it was like priorities, right? But, you know, fast forward to 30 years, and again, the priority that, in my opinion, that has won out is like, can you play live?
Right. It's funny, Shreddy Machete from Rack told me the same kind of story, that they had a picture of Madison Square Garden taped to the rehearsal space, but they wanted to play there. They were like, that is our goal. We want to go. Obviously they didn't, but.
Yeah, so it's like, you know, bands back then had routes to go. And it's not like that artists and musicians and bands don't have routes to go these days. They do. They're just different, right? You know, I think that, you know, you can just sit there and, you know, create beats and snippets of music fragments that are like 10 seconds long, right? And you can just upload those to TikTok and see which one responds. See how the algorithm responds. And
you can do A/B testing on YouTube.
100%. And if you have that algorithm showing you, oh, the audience is responding to this, oh, then you go make a song based on that snippet that you created. That's a route today. Or you can just, you know, practice, and play as much as you can live, and that's your route. So there's like, you know, getting your music in front, it's changed, but at the same token, it's still priorities, right? Like what is your priority? Like for me, and for, you know, I think everybody that was, you know, at the arena last night, it can be there tonight. It's there. It's that present moment. It's seeing people that can, like, put on a master class of how to play in the moment.
Right. And Billy is a fantastic just songwriter. I mean, I listen to Billy's stuff and I'm like, did he write that? Or did somebody write that 100 years ago? It's just so fantastic time. It's his lyrics. I feel like lyrics are sorely lacking. Did anybody get into stuff about writing lyrics in there and that aspect of it?
You know, I didn't really talk to people about lyrics.
Right.
You know, if it came up, they would, you know, we would chat about it. You know, I do remember talking to Trey about the fever pitch I remember around Billy Breathes, and how it connected with so many fans, and how lyrically I personally had thought it was fantastic. It seemed very poignant, and there's just a lot of great moments on it. And
it's their Beatles album. Steve Lillywhite did wonders with
Lillywhite did great, but you know, even like the song Billy Breeze, like there's a great story in there about how he, you know, wrote the lyrics to that, like thought of the lyrics, you know, on a porch with his, you know, baby daughter in hand, and it's essentially like a real time song of what he was experiencing, and So, you know, I think, you know, people can, you know, pick out whatever they want and say, oh, their lyrics are, you know, jam band lyrics, they're goofy, they're, you know, whatever, but they're not at all.
That is
it's
my
just,
favorite, Billy Breeze. Probably my favorite Fish studio cut, that song.
oh, yeah, it's fantastic. But yeah, you know, I think, so to answer your question, no, we didn't get into
Right,
like
into the lyrics.
dissecting lyrics like here and there. You said this at this moment.
Right.
You know, what were you thinking? You know, Moe's meat is 45 minutes and says the word meat
You're
a couple
right.
times. Like, what did you mean?
Right.
Like it was more. I think it was. I don't know if I really cared what it meant.
Right.
You know, like
I don't think a
people
lot
love
of-
it.
right.
Like so we don't. Like that I think that's good enough for me. Like, and when they fire up meat, I love it. It's great. There is a great story that they sent the single, the 45-minute single, the studio single, to radio stations as the single that
Right.
Mo is releasing to mess with them, and that's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I wonder how many times it got played.
I don't think they had a lot of expectations.
My biggest issue, I guess, always is it seems like a lot of jam bands, the lyrics are an afterthought. And I feel like that, the reason, if you look on the inside of Stop Making Sense, the original album, there were all these questions. And David Byrne answered him, and one of them was, why do songs have lyrics? And he said, so people will listen to the music. And I'm just like, when the lyrics are bad, I don't listen to the music. And I feel like I've lost out on some jam bands over the years because of that.
Yeah, but you go to a show and there's a song like, you know, Sparkle or Simple.
Sparkle is a fantastic lyric. I mean, come on.
It's
The flesh and the people running around the song, Jill and
people will say it's goofy, but like being around a bunch of people losing their minds when they're doing this is like, you know, it's worth the price of
right.
admission.
Rift is their moment lyrically. I mean, I think Tom Marshall was peaked at that moment.
We have a special treat.
Yes, we do.
And
And we'll do questions later.
Yeah, we're not going to talk the entire time. We have a special treat. Uncle Kunkel's 1 Gram Band, who played here last night, is going to take the stage for their first ever acoustic set.
Yes.
We heard them practicing earlier, and it sounded fantastic.
They may do a song named after one of my kids, but they might not even know that it's one of my kids.
Okay, so we're going to take a quick break. They're going to come up. They're going to move some things around and play for us. It'll be great.
And afterwards, we'll be back up. We'll take some questions for y'all, so hang out. We're going to be signing some books. I'll be signing books afterwards. And when we leave the building, if you find me, I'll be standing out front. I'll give you a sticker because we aren't allowed to give out stickers in this building because you all are degenerates and I'll stick them on the wall. Perfect. Actually, no, let's sit back. Yeah, I want to be able to look at it. Yep, sit back. Yep. Shoot.
We don't need to.
Yeah, let's do it.
Thank you, Brian. Yeah.
All right. Check 1 2. Just line check this one.
Hey, Brian. Can I get a water bottle? Oh, the vape is dead. It's dead, yo. You're dead. You're dead, bro. Check, 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 yeah. Hey, why the mics are hot, so or at least
check.
mine is.
Oh, they're hot. All right.
So I'm gonna be right back here.
Yeah, Abigail. Thank
One
you
time
so
for
much.
Abigail.
Yeah. All right. Hi, everybody. See, we got some friends here. Thanks for coming back. For those that did, this is a cool little.
Thanks for coming back so soon.
Yeah.
Check, 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 check. I'll take some of that hotness back in my
Check,
monitor, just a little bit of it. Check, check, check. Yeah, 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 yeah. That's great. Check.
Wayward.
And we're gonna vamp a little bit on the intro. He knows. Mama is my alarm clock. I don't need to check mine. Every day she rises at 7:29. By the time she glances over, the clock reads 7:30. In her robe she pours a cup and washes what was dirty. I said, oh, mama is my alarm clock. 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 Now, everybody knows that mama knows best. She knows when to wake me and when to let me rest. Now, silly me is drunk asleep, fixed with just one sock. But have no fear, 'cause mama's here, and she's my alarm clock. I said, oh, mama is 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 my alarm clock. Now, I may bite and kick and turn as Mama pulls the blinds. But Lord knows not what Mama does. Her knowledge is of a kind. Yes, Papa wakes and listens to the radio men talk. But Mama's downstairs typing clickety-clack, and she's my alarm clock. I said, oh, Mama is 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 my alarm Thanks, yeah. We were shaking off the cobwebs from last night, but this is really fun.
Wow, this is awesome.
We've never played acoustic before, except for on our couch together, so you're watching one great experiment happen here. This is super fun. Thanks for being here.
Yeah. They never let me take solos, so.
Why is playing a melodic instrument?
I know. That's right. Bass don't just go boom boom this time.
There's no boom boom. message is unclear. Hellfire strikes the white lanes. I've got things on my mind. Wipe away the stormy gray. See what's left behind. I did didn't
know at the time things would get much different down the line. And if I did, I'd write you all the time.
I didn't know how to rhyme.
Write the words that dance around my mind. And now I do.
And I beg of you. Be back, peel the stem.
Graphite stains my left hand while it glides across blue lines. Ticonderoga, yellow number 2. A spiral notebook full of half ideas and my lies. Anyone who found it, they would never know it's you.
I didn't
Know at the time that things would get much different down the line. If I did, I'd write you all the time.
I didn't
Know how to rhyme, write the words that dance around my mind. Now I do.
and I
Beg of you.
be back and peel the stem.
Like the glue.
I didn't
Know at the time things would get much different down the line. If I did, I'd write you all the time.
I didn't
Know how to rhyme, write the words that dance around my mind. Now I do. And I beg of you.
be back and peel the stem.
Yeah.
Oh man, I gotta readjust. Getting a lot of feedback.
Oh, yeah.
That was fun.
Are you guys
Oh,
enjoying
thanks,
this as
boys.
much as I am right now?
What's going on?
I'm loving this right now. This is great. This is so fun.
What do you want to do? Video you're dead? We did this one last night, but we did it in like it was like thrash surf metal. So now we're gonna try and do it like this.
much work to be done. You're down, you're down, you're down, you're down and out of this world. Don't ever talk with your eyes. Be sure that you compromise. You're dead, you're dead, you're dead, you're dead and out of this world.
Yeah. That's how it goes. Hell yeah.
That's awesome.
Did you Freakout and then Wayward?
Yeah.
Okay, well let's do Wayward first, yeah.
I did the OG? Or the new
What do you mean the OG? Yeah, the new way.
All right, here we go.
Okay, here we go.
Through the door, yeah. Sky is clear, then it pours. You think that you're on your way for sure. You gave all you had and still want more. Different patterns similar till we reach the wayward high. So many ways for us to fly, wandering around trying to find. cross state line. Conversation intertwined. I'm not looking back this way this time. Will we make it to Wayward Pine? Different patterns, similar till we reach the Wayward Pine. So many ways for us to find, wandering around trying to find my mind. So many pathways, so little time till we reach the Wayward Pine. So many ways for us to find, wandering around trying to find my mind. So many pathways, so little time to wait, to wait. Yeah. Thank you so much, everybody. I love that one.
We got one more. We got one more tune.
One more dude.
One more tune. This song's a new tune. We've never played it acoustic. We've never played any of these acoustic.
Never played this in our lives.
Reminder, we've never done this. If you were here last night, thank you again so much for coming. Last night was such a blast, man. That was real fun. You guys are here? Sweet. Yeah, that was fun. Yeah, the man in the box, that was badass.
Yeah, and thank you so much to Wook Plus and all those guys for having us.
Yeah,
Those
for
guys are the
thinking
best.
of us and having us. It's good manifesting. I used to hang out with Kevin on lot sometimes, and you know, I always noted him as a very cool character, and then here we are now. So we ping off of each other, and then we go around the whole world, and then you don't choose the amount of time until you see somebody again, and you ping again. So Kevin, we're pinging, man. It's good to see you. Thank you to Wook Plus for having us.
Yeah, so much.
All right. Oh, baby. You got the lyrics?
Yeah.
It's so new, we need the lyrics. That's about how new it is. All right.
I am gonna freak out. Eyes right out my head. I know that I will be just fine. But will I end up dead? Just trying to enjoy the show. Leave without a trace. But here I am with all too much melting through my face. I am gonna freak out if I don't get my way. I see them in third person, practice in my play, waiting just to start the show in the corner of the stage. The spotlight hits my pale face and I try to get away. I'm gonna freak out. I'm gonna lose my shit. I'm gonna freak out. I'm gonna lose my shit. I'm gonna freak out. I'm gonna lose my shit. I'm gonna rip off
dip the dominoes of my mind until it's split.
Off all my clothes, and in my mind I'm full of it, and everybody knows. Soon I'll lay here in the grass, remember all is right. Second wind will guide my feet straight into the night. I am gonna freak out, rip out all my hair. The devil leads me to my seat in the electric chair. Lightning shocks me to my core, and it wakes me up inside. Curtains drawn and the lights turn on, there's nowhere left to hide. I'm gonna freak out, I'm gonna lose my shit. I'm gonna freak out, I'm gonna lose my shit. I'm gonna freak out, I'm gonna lose my shit. I'm gonna tell everybody that the end is near and we should live it up while we're here. I'm gonna freak out, I'm gonna lose my shit. I'm gonna freak out, I'm gonna lose my shit. I'm gonna freak out, I'm gonna lose my shit. I'm gonna tell everybody that the end is near and we should live it up while we're here. I'm gonna freak out.
Good job on the ending. You guys didn't know what I was going to do. That's it for us, guys. Yo, that's our first acoustic set. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks, everybody.
That was a lot of fun. You guys are a wonderful crowd.
And then we have more Wook Plus. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right, we're back. We're back, and Mike will be up in a second. So here's what we're going to do. Mike has, if you got a copy of the book, he will sign it for you, but we're going to throw it out there if anybody has any questions about the book, about Halloween, about our kids, whatever. I got 2 kids. They're pretty cool. Sometimes.
Yeah, if anybody has any questions, that's great. That's awesome. But also, that set was fantastic. Yeah, give it up. It was so fun, and yeah, super special to have that. And we're able to stream it on volume, so anybody out in the internet world can see that, and it'll be on demand. And that's
It'll
a wonderful thing.
exist. It will exist out there.
It will exist. Well, you know, just kind of.
I got a question for you.
Okay. Yeah. Fine.
Will there ever be a part 2? Because there's a lot of bands that were left out of this.
Should there be a part 2?
I think there should be the second wave of American jam bands.
Okay, I had a little fantasy when I was driving down today that in 20 years, someone emailed me or blasted into the chip that's now in all of our brains some sort of communication that said, do you want to write a part 2 about what's going on now?
Right.
And I thought my idea about someone having an idea for me was fantastic.
I always felt like there you go, what you got?
Oh, yes.
What's your favorite scary movie?
Oh, that's good.
I'm a Chainsaw Massacre guy. The first one, only the first one, because when they remade it, they put the grandmother in it, and it ruined the whole thing of a bunch of men who really weren't into cannibalism and killing people, but had to do it to survive, because the pig factory closed down.
Okay. No, that's a great question. I think I still love the Blair Witch Project,
Oh, yes.
which has its Maryland roots, I believe. I remember being in Virginia and watching it, and there was, that might have been the original moment of fake news.
Yes.
Okay,
War of
no
the
one
Worlds,
really knew.
War of the Worlds.
Okay, second version.
Second time.
No one ever knew whether that was real or not for like 2 weeks, and then it was told that obviously it was fake.
If you go over to Wook Plus's YouTube channel, there's the Blair Wook Project.
And what did that entail?
That entailed, it was a story of people kept dying. Like, people in the Wook Plus crew kept dying, and we couldn't figure out who it was, and they all thought I did it. But it turns out it was Chad, who was one of the original members who left.
Were you wearing a beanie and talking into the camera?
Oh, I was. There's a great video of me going, oh my God, we're gonna die. I did the whole end thing, yes. It was huge. We used to do stuff like that on Wook Plus. Now, we don't so much anymore, but.
That's okay.
Questions, come on. I know you got questions. Maybe not.
That's okay. That is great. What do you have coming up on Wook Plus? What's coming up?
Next week on Tuesday, we have the Wook Club Tour by Tour. Makita, who was the third Wook of the year, is coming on with us, and we're going to talk Summer '98, the first part. Wednesday, we have Live. And then Mondays and Fridays on volume only, we do mornings, where basically we talk about stuff that we aren't going to talk about that's stuff that's not jam band related. Why Spotify sucks, why Live Nation sucks.
It's just it's a lot about things sucking.
Right. Well, why punk rock is so cool.
Okay.
Thanks, guys. Yes.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah, so what was the chapter like that? Like, how did the road itself? Like, you didn't even need to, like, there was nothing the interview was so good, or whatever, it just kind of, like, it flowed.
Yeah. The chapter that wrote itself there was a few. One of the ones that wrote itself that I just adore is honestly the final chapter. It takes place on New Year's Eve '99, and it has so many of the artists in here talking in that world during that decade, talking about what that decade did for them, but kind of frames it around Big Cypress and Panic's New Year's shows, and just how much there was a fever pitch for Y2K, and it really just, it sounds kind of corny, but it was like this last moment of innocence when, nothing was at your fingertips. You go to a show, like you just have to be there. You can't take any you're just there. You're just being, and then, when 2000 hit and, file sharing started to become, like, industry started to change. And so, the book ends at that moment, and I do think it wrote itself, and I adore thinking about that moment. I think
love
a lot of people here had that moment, and not that now's not great, but it was just kind of like this last thing. You know, you have people in there talking about, you know, you didn't know if the planes were going to fall out of the sky and you couldn't get any more money. So let's just listen to live music and see what happens.
It's funny you frame that as the end of the innocence, because obviously 9/11 happened after that, and the world completely changed from what it was, which is fascinating. Were you at Big Cypress?
I was not at Big Cypress. I stuck back.
Right.
So
Somebody had to. We had to leave someone back.
Yeah, like I was holding down the fort
Right.
in case all hell broke loose. But I do remember waking up on 1/1 and reading, I think, Rec Music Fish, and
Yeah.
being like, well, that sucks, I didn't go. Everything everything still works, and they did that.
Right, my friend Penny was like, "You got to come with us." I was like, "All right." So I show up at her house, and she's like, "We have to travel light. We're going for the whole weekend." So she goes in her house. I unload everything out of her car and hide 144 T-shirts in an army bag in like the bottom, and then pile everything back on top of it. She has no idea. We're riding with stuff in our laps too. The car was packed. We get down there, we're undoing it. I pull this thing out. She flipped out on me. I brought the shirts, but I sold them all the first night, so I was done before Friday morning.
What were the shirts?
They said 10, 10, 420. If you remember 1010 numbers that you used to call for long distance. It said 10, 10, 420 on the back, and it said burn a dime a minute.
And it's sold out,
And it's
144.
well, probably 130 of them. I was
Okay.
drunk giving them away. Someone's like, "You want to join? Yeah, have a shirt." You know how the life gets.
Yeah, no, that's the way to go. So you were slinging it.
I was, and then I lived large the rest of the week.
Did you stay up all night?
Oh, I did. I did. I brought stuff home with me still. I was not right till probably the 5th or 6th of January.
Okay, great. No follow-up questions needed.
No follow-up questions needed.
I got a question for Kevin.
Okay.
Why do you hate Neil Young?
Well, I don't hate Neil Young. Neil Young is a second-tier Bob Dylan. I mean, even Bob Dylan said Bob Dylan said he heard Heart of Gold on the radio, and he said, "Damn, that's me." So, I mean, I don't hate Neil Young, and I like some of what Neil Young. Probably my favorite Neil Young thing is The Ragged Glory with Fucking Up and Mansion on the Hill. I saw that tour. I connected in that moment, but I don't want to put on After the Gold Rush. I don't want to hear that. He's a little whiny, maybe.
It is very loud. Why do you hate Mike Ayers?
I don't hate Neil Young. Neil Young is great, but I will tell you that I interviewed him. Did I tell you about this?
No.
Did I tell you? I interviewed him about 10 years ago for a live record that was coming out, and in order to prep for the interview, I wanted to listen to the record.
You told me this.
And I had to I had to go to a nondescript dark room in Midtown Manhattan. I mean, I think it was dark because I didn't turn on the lights, but it still is better for the story that it was nondescript, no windows, dark, and I had to listen to it from start to finish on a Pono. Do you remember the Ponos? That's the only way he would let people listen to in advance. So I went to this room. This woman brought me a Pono. It had the record on it, and I sat there with earphones in and listened to it and jotted down notes. And then I talked to him a couple weeks later, and it was a good interview.
How was he talking to him?
He was nice, and I was told afterwards he liked me.
Right, there you go.
Yeah.
We're going with the big guys. I got an interview with Richard Lloyd, who is a guitarist in the band called Television, if anyone doesn't know. And I was such a fanboy. I was like, this is going to be fantastic. We get about 10 minutes into it. He said, all you want to talk about is when I did drugs, and hung up on me and cut the interview off. And I was like, well, that breaks my heart.
Were you only talking to him about why he did drugs?
I asked him about a solo album he put out in the 80s, and apparently he was very strung out at the time, and I did not realize that this would cause the reaction that it
Okay.
did. It's tough sometimes. Yes?
On that note, you had Kevin, you had a unique interview, but Mike, where's the standout, like maybe left turn interview, where you just didn't expect to go, something like in your memory? Yeah.
That's for me.
Yes, that's for you.
In the book.
In the book, yeah.
Yeah, that is. Yeah, so there's some pretty good John Popper stories in there, and there is, like, I didn't really see it coming when I was told that Popper used to carry like a small pistol on stage with him.
Amongst
And-
the harmonicas when his flak vest there.
and he went over to the monitor guy at a gig and was like, if you don't make this sound better, I'm gonna fucking shoot you. And so I'm listening to this, I'm like, oh shit, well that sounds bad. And he was like, yeah. And then like they were opening for the Almonds. And then like Dickie Betts, like I guess saw or heard this and came up to him and was like, put down like a 357 on the monitor and was like, if he ever says that again, you use this.
Oh, man.
So that was like that was
And he told you this
that was
story?
that was the turn that I did not expect.
No, when John
But-
Popper told you this story?
But look, he said that it was not a good moment. Like, and you know, maturity happens, and you know, people learn to like.
Does maturity happen though? Have you
Maturity
seen his
happens.
tweets?
Maturity happens.
Clear, John Popper told you this?
No, he did not tell me this. Like other people told me this.
That's crazy.
But yeah, like they certainly, yeah, that one stuck out.
Do you feel like did you get any stories or any stuff that you felt like you couldn't put in the book?
No. The things that didn't go into the book, it was just on like the boring answer, but real answer is just space.
Right.
You know, everybody, like, you know, time's passed. You know, this was 30 years ago, 40 years ago, and they, you know, it was a time in their life, and, you know, what happened, and, you know, people grow up, they move on, and
You hope they grow up and move on.
yeah, no, they grow up and move on. You know, Popper did, you know, I do remember him saying to me, because I was talking to him about some bad things that happened to Blues Traveler, you know, Bobby passing
right,
away,
yeah, Bobby.
and like, you know, having problems with drugs and all that, and, you know, his motorcycle accident, and, you know, he was like, you know, he said to me, he was like, you know, you're talking about these very bad things, and I get it, but there were so many good moments, and like, you know, that I would never forget. I would never forget that. And then like the other thing that still stands out to me is Brendan from Blues Traveler actually was just like, you know, like I'll go in like a Home Depot or a Walmart or an elevator or whatever, and maybe I'll hear Run Around, or maybe it'll be a Muzak version of
Right.
Run Around, and I just am still so proud of that, like to be associated with this fabric of this decade that was so unique and meant so much to so many people. Like I wouldn't trade it for anything. So yeah, there's definitely some like interesting, crazy moments in the book, but there's also some very poignant moments
Right.
of
What
just, you know,
what makes it so hard for a band like Blues Traveler After 4 or Spin Doctors After Pocket Full of Kryptonite to replicate that and do it again and continue at that level?
yeah, it's just like, you know, when you open at least back then, when you open doors to new fan bases that were hearing you on the top 40 radio station at work on repeat for 5, 6, 7, 8 months in a row, and your core fan base
Is not that person.
is not that person. Back then at least there was this. It was just there's just like this opposition, right? Like the
weren't
two.
you saying it shows you'd have the mom there with the kid who loved the single, and then you'd have the wooks over here on ketamine spinning around in circles?
Yeah, definitely yes. And those things didn't exist. And you know, when you're like a 20-year-old kid and you're going to see a band and you're there to like have a good time, blow off steam, do what whatever.
You don't want, right.
You're not like hanging out with like half the crowd is like
Kids.
Disney.
Moms, right, yeah.
Right? You're not going to Disney. You know what I'm saying? So they had to like juggle with that and kind of, it was like this devil and angel
I think it
on your
kills
shoulder.
them, though. I think eventually they disappear. I mean, I didn't hear about the Spin Doctors for years, and apparently they were playing like casinos. They were still around, but they were doing the casino tour with like the Guess Who or somebody who's,
Yeah, but at the end of there's a lot of stories from the Spin Doctors in this because they were a part of this scene, and I just think it was so fascinating that some acts they just had this Robert Johnson-esque crossroads where you have to make this choice, and it's like, okay, everybody can know who you are and you have all of this, or you can kind of keep slugging it out, and we don't know what's going to happen. We do know this is going to happen now. So what do you want? What is it? And whether they made, hindsight is always 20/20, but like at the time everybody thought they were making the best decision. And you just don't know how things necessarily are.
it's the hit
Are gonna
song
shake.
question. Do you want to have a hit song or not?
Yeah, it's.
I asked Joel and Ryan from Humphreys that once. I said, and I was like, "You guys want to have a hit song?" And Joel was like, "Maybe a small hit." And Ryan was like, "Nah, fuck that. I want to have a hit song. I want everybody to hear Humphreys McGee on every radio across the country." And I was like, "Thank you. That's the answer."
I mean, some people do, and that's great.
Yeah.
But it's just like priorities and like how how do you want things to shake out? How do you want to connect to people? If there's no other questions.
Oh.
One more question. Okay, we have two. We have two more.
Tumor.
In your live music career, in your lifetime, a band is still playing now that you haven't seen, what band are you most energetic to see now that you've never seen? But you want to see the
I don't know. So I had that, and then I checked it off the list in August with Oasis.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah, I had so I had it. I don't know if there's anything current right now. And that's
There's your Oasis minute. Thank you, Michael.
it was fantastic. Yeah. It was great. I loved it.
Were
They
you
did
hoping
it. They
for
did
a
a
fight?
great.
There's no other like checklist for how to see them. Like, there's tons. Like they're popping up over and over and over.
You have a scroll, don't you? You can like whip it out and it like rolls across the floor.
I
I'm
don't-
going Paul McCartney because I'm a dumbass and didn't go see him the last time he played Camden Yards. Yeah. I just wanted to take my mom and my 2 kids, and it would have been over $1,000. Easy to sit in the 900 section, the last row, you know.
I don't. I have bands I haven't seen in a while that I'd love to see again. Radiohead.
Oh, did
Pearl
you see
Jam.
they're doing that tour?
Mhm.
They're going to tour in the round. Have you
Mhm.
ever seen a show in the round?
Mhm.
I saw Yes in the round on the Union tour in like '91, and it sucked because I kept getting Tony K. Every time it stopped, I had Tony K in front of me. I was like, I want John Anderson. Can we spin around a little bit?
Mhm.
What can you do?
Oh, what can you do? I have books for sale. I have a Venmo. I have a PayPal. I have some in the back. There's some that have been around here.
You want a signature?
If you would like it signed, that would be great. They make amazing holiday presents.
They do.
And
the holidays are coming quick.
They are coming quick. Tune into Volume to Wook Plus. Kevin and Travis lay it down every
Every
week.
Wednesday, 9 o'clock, live is our big thing. It's not live, it's live. And we do that every week. Lots of other stuff. The after shows. If you like fish, we do the After Fish after show. We have done 5 years, well, since I started touring in 21 again. We have not missed a show. We have watched every show and done a recap afterwards, 15 minutes after the encore. So we'll do that. I just want to thank the 8x10, Brian, Abigail, you guys. Man, 20 years you've been here. Thank you for everything you've done, both of you. And we're going to sign some books, and then they're going to need to get the stage cleaned off so we can get the band in for tonight. Hopefully you all, if you're going to Billy Strings, come back tonight. It's some of the guys from Cabinet. Should be fantastic. Thank
Thanks,
you, everyone.
everybody. Thank you.